Epyon X51 here, and you're watching Senpai's First Impressions. Welcome to Senpai's First Impressions, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most cultured animes that is out this season. No, I'm not talking about Sword Art Online. No, I'm not talking about my teen romantic comedy Snafu. I'm talking about Monster Girl Doctor. With all the new anime coming out, we have to know which ones we need to watch. And that's what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to give you my first impressions after watching one episode of Monster Girl Doctor. Now, when I read the synopsis for this one, I had pretty high hopes. And being somewhat of a Monster Girl connoisseur myself, I thought that Monster Girl Doctor would be the perfect ecchi comedy addition to an otherwise jam-packed lineup. But after watching the first episode, I have to say, human, lamia, centaur, huh. Sounds familiar. Where have I seen this before? Okay, so the idea is not the most original. I think we can all agree on that one. But why not? I mean, who wouldn't want to be a doctor for Monster Girls? So the episode starts out and you have this doctor. I don't even remember his name. He's such a human deadpan that I can't even remember what he looks like. So anyways, he's giving a bovine girl a physical exam, one in which, in order to tell whether or not she's pregnant, he has to meticulously examine her assets. Anyway, so for his first quest, he's essentially summoned to the Colosseum where Monster Girl gladiators fight, although not to the death. Thank you for at least leaving that out of it. But one girl in particular, who's considered essentially the princess of the centaurs, is on a losing streak. She's lost 10 battles in a row. Ooh, 10 battles in a row. And she can't figure out why, so she calls in a doctor to help her understand why she keeps losing. And I'm having trouble even remembering what the plot is because it was so bad. It was like 6 o'clock in the evening. I wasn't even tired, and I was struggling to stay awake. And of course, this centaur looks exactly like a character I've seen before. She's blonde, she's a centaur, she is very, very well endowed. It'll come to me. So he travels to the Colosseum with his doctor assistant, who just so happens to be madly in love with him, and also just so happens to be a pink-colored lamia. So it turns out that the centaur, who I can't even remember her name either because she's that forgettable, is losing these battles because her super move of sorts is a charge where she speeds towards her enemy, and she can't get enough speed because she doesn't have horseshoes. She doesn't have horseshoes! And the doctor figures this one out, not because of his physical exam, no, but because her friends told him that she didn't have horseshoes. Come on, people, he's a doctor! He's not a blacksmith. So he calls in the Cyclops blacksmiths, of course, to help build the horseshoes, and he, as a doctor of Monster Girls, I don't know why a doctor would be installing horseshoes, but him as a doctor, whose name I can't remember, installs horseshoes on this centaur, whose name I can't remember, with the help of the lamia, whose name I can't remember. Needless to say, I'll go ahead and say it anyway, of course, the hooves are her sensitive spot. Now, I don't want to hate on anybody who's got a foot fetish out there, but I'm pretty sure that a horse's hoof is probably not its most sensitive spot. Point being, he installs the horseshoes, and miraculously, she starts winning her matches again. And of course, this blonde centaur falls in love with him and wants to marry him. Because he's a deadpan human MC, and who doesn't love deadpan human MCs? I mean, come on, he's got black hair. Now that is the extent of the first episode, but that is not the extent of what it left me feeling after I watched the first episode. Let's talk about the animation for a second. Not only was the animation just poor, like 1990s poor. This seriously looked like a bunch of fan art from a 5th grader who decided to rip off another Monster Girl show that may or may not have a pink lamia and a blonde centaur. But let's just say the animation is nothing to get excited about. On top of that, the voice acting is... If it had been High School of the Dead and these voice actors were voicing the zombies, it would have been spot on. The writing, I mean, you know quality when you see it, and oh, let me tell you, quality was not here. The writing was abysmal. You wanted to scratch yourself because the writing was so bad. The lines were so predictable. And you have to ask yourself, where did they hire these people? I mean, literally, it's like they watched this other random anime with a lamia and a centaur and decided, hey, let's rip it off and let's change a few of the names. Hey, we've got a new anime and we're gonna release it on Crunchyroll. Everyone's gonna watch it. Yeah, no. Is it getting hot in here? I don't even know why I wasted 23 minutes of my precious life watching this television show that was just a complete ripoff of some other Monster Girl show, except worse, except not funny, except not interesting, except with bad animation, except with characters who I can't even remember the names of. To say that it's mediocre would be giving it too much credit, because this was not mediocre, this was just plain bad. Why would you even make something like this? And if I'm gonna recommend an anime to you, it is not gonna be this one, because this one was just a waste of 23 minutes of my life that I will never, ever, ever get back. You know what? I'm just gonna go rewatch episodes of that other Monster Girl show and take back those 23 minutes of my life that I lost. Crunchyroll, why did you do this to me? How did you even allow this stuff to be put on the internet? I don't think I need to say it, but Monster Girl Doctor is getting slam dunked into the don't bother bin. So that's it for today. Don't even bother with this one. Monster Girl Doctor is a throwaway anime that should have never been made. If you're really interested in Monster Girls, check out Monster Musume. This is Epyon X51 with my first impression of Monster Girl Doctor. And let me tell you, it wasn't a good one. Can I have my brain cells back?